Why wrinkles are a sign of life, not loss. Have you ever looked in the mirror and caught yourself pulling at the corners of your eyes just to see what your face used to look like? Maybe it's after a long day, or maybe it's just one of those quiet mornings when the house is still and your reflection seems to speak louder than words. The lines around your eyes, the soft folds near your mouth, the creases on your forehead, they seem to whisper things like, "You're not young anymore," or worse, "You've lost something." But what if I told you those lines aren't a sign of something lost? What if they're proof of something lived? I want you to think back for a moment, not just to your younger years, but to every laugh that left you breathless, every sleepless night cradling your baby, every moment you bit your tongue instead of saying something hurtful, every time you smiled even when your heart was breaking. Each of those moments left a trace. And now, here you are, wearing your life on your skin. That's not loss. That's legacy. You see, somewhere along the way, society decided that smooth skin was better. That aging needed to be hidden, erased, reversed. But that idea? That's the real loss. Because when we start believing that wrinkles are the enemy, we forget the beauty in what they truly represent. In this video, we're going to explore why your wrinkles, those so-called flaws, are actually a reflection of your strength, your love, and your resilience. And we're going to talk about how to shift the way you see yourself, not through creams or surgery, but through the lens of gratitude and pride. Let's start with something simple, but powerful, memory. Not the kind that fades. I'm talking about emotional memory. Your skin remembers. Think about the way your face scrunched up when your grandchild told their first silly joke. Or the years you spent working hard, providing for your family, through sunshine and storms. Those weren't years lost, they were years earned. And every fine line is like a page from that story. You wouldn't tear pages out of a beautiful book just because they looked worn, would you? But it's not just about memories. Wrinkles show that you've lived long enough to feel deeply the joy, heartbreak, love, fear. They show that you've made it through moments that would have broken others. A scar near your lip might remind you of the time you fell off your bike at 10. That furrow between your brows? Maybe it came from all the times you stayed strong when no one else could. They're not just signs of age. They're signs of survival. Now, I get it, we all want to look our best. There's nothing wrong with that. But the truth is, aging isn't something to fight. It's something to embrace. Because growing older means you're still here. Still breathing. Still becoming. I remember once sitting with a woman in her 80s, sharp as a tack, full of spunk. She told me, "These lines? I earned every single one. I wore mascara through childbirth, held my tongue through 2 divorces, and never missed Sunday church." Then she laughed and said, "If that doesn't deserve a few lines, I don't know what does." That moment stuck with me. Because she wasn't ashamed. She was proud. And that's what I want for you, to wear your years with the same pride. Now let's talk about something a little deeper, comparison. It's so easy to scroll through photos or turn on the TV and feel like you've somehow fallen behind. Younger people with glowing skin, shiny hair, energy for days, and you might wonder, where did all that go? But here's what they don't have. They don't have your wisdom. They don't know what it feels like to forgive someone who never apologized. They haven't learned to sit in silence and still feel full. They don't know the weight of loving someone for 40, 50 years, through sickness and health, through fights and forgiveness. That kind of beauty can't be filtered. It's not found in lotions. It's built through time. You have lived through decades of change, in the world and in yourself. You've seen trends come and go, faced losses you never thought you'd survive, and still found reasons to get out of bed and keep going. That's beauty. That's depth. That's power. So the next time you look in the mirror and catch yourself judging those lines, I want you to pause and say, "Thank you." Thank you to your eyes for crying when you needed to. Thank you to your mouth for smiling even when life got tough. Thank you to your skin for showing up, every single day, to carry your story. And if anyone ever dares to tell you that you'd look better without your wrinkles, just smile and tell them, maybe. But I wouldn't be me. Because you're not someone who's fading. You're someone who's shining, just in a different way than before. Now let's keep going. There's something powerful about letting go of who we used to be and fully stepping into who we are now. Not with regret, not with nostalgia, but with the kind of quiet confidence that only time can teach. And wrinkles? They're just the footprints of that journey. You've probably heard people say, age is just a number. But let's be honest, sometimes it feels like more than a number, doesn't it? You wake up with a stiff knee, your hands don't move quite like they used to, and your reflection catches you off guard. But here's what they don't tell you, aging is less about loss and more about exchange. You give up certain things, yes. But what you get in return? It's priceless. You get clarity. You get self-respect. You stop trying to please everyone. You start noticing the small joys, the morning sun through the window, the quiet of a peaceful afternoon, the way your grandchild's laugh sounds like music. But if we're being honest, embracing all that beauty isn't always easy. Especially in a world that constantly tells us to fix, lift, tighten, and hide. The beauty industry is built on making us feel like we're not enough. Like we need to rewind the clock to be valuable. But what if, instead of trying to rewind, we focused on reclaiming? Reclaiming our worth. Our voice. Our right to take up space, wrinkles and all. That starts with changing the way we talk to ourselves. You'd never speak to a friend the way you sometimes speak to the mirror. You wouldn't tell her she's too old, too tired, too wrinkled. You'd remind her of everything she's been through. Everything she still has to offer. So why not offer yourself the same kindness? It's time to stop shrinking in the face of age and start standing taller because of it. Let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed how a weathered tree has more character than a young sapling? Its bark is thicker. Its branches tell stories. It's stronger, more grounded. No one looks at that old tree and says, "What a shame it's not smooth anymore." No, we admire its strength, its presence, its dignity. That's how we should see ourselves. As seasoned. Rooted. Resilient. And here's another thing, the people who truly love you, your family, your real friends, they're not counting the lines on your face. They're counting the memories they've made with you. The comfort of your hugs. The warmth of your wisdom. The way you show up, day after day, with love in your heart even when the world hasn't always been kind. Your appearance doesn't define your value. Your presence does. Now, I want to tell you about a man I met last year. His name was Henry. 83 years old, still drove his old pickup to the grocery store every Wednesday morning. His hands were rough, his face lined like a road map, but his eyes sparkled like a teenager's. I asked him once what his secret was. He said, "I don't waste time wishing I looked younger. I use that time to make other people smile." That hit me like a ton of bricks. Because that's it, isn't it? When we stop obsessing over how we look and start focusing on how we live, something shifts. We become lighter. Freer. Henry didn't have fewer wrinkles, he just had fewer regrets. So maybe that's a good place for us to pause and ask ourselves, what are we holding on to that we could let go of today? The shame? The comparison? The feeling that we're less than? And what could we hold on to tighter instead? Maybe it's the memory of the people we've loved. The joy of making someone laugh. The power of showing up exactly as we are, no mask, no filters, just truth. There's a freedom that comes with accepting your face, your body, your life, not as something broken or past its prime, but as something becoming. Because even now, especially now, you're still growing. Still learning. Still loving. And guess what? The world needs that version of you. Not the one trying to be 40 again. Not the one trying to erase her story. But the one who knows who she is, and refuses to apologize for it. You've made it this far. Through ups and downs, heartbreaks and miracles. Through decades of change and challenge. That kind of life deserves to be seen, not hidden. So when someone asks you your age, say it with pride. Say it like a badge of honor. Because every year, every wrinkle, every line is proof that you've lived fully, honestly, deeply. And isn't that what we're all here to do? There's something truly beautiful about a person who no longer needs to prove anything, someone who walks into a room, not to impress, but simply to be. And that's what aging gives you. Not less, but more. More truth. More presence. More of the real you. You don't need permission to be proud of the skin you're in. You've earned it. Every mark, every spot, every fine line is part of your personal fingerprint. No one else has lived exactly what you have. No one else has carried the same burdens, felt the same joys, cried the same tears, laughed the same belly laughs. And that's something to be celebrated, not erased. You know, we spend our younger years chasing so much approval, status, beauty, money. But in the later chapters, what we really crave is peace. Peace with who we are. Peace with how we look. Peace with where we've been. That peace doesn't come from a bottle or a surgery. It comes from finally looking at yourself and saying, I've lived. And I'm still living. It comes when you stop treating your face like a problem to fix and start seeing it as a story to honor. And look, this isn't about pretending we love every part of aging. Some days are hard. Some changes feel unfair. There are losses, people we miss, bodies that move slower, energy that flickers. But even in that, there's still something sacred. Because you are still here. Still getting up each day. Still smiling at strangers. Still sending that birthday card. Still calling to check in. Still showing up for the people you love. That's not weakness. That's strength. Quiet, steady, unshakable strength. And maybe that's the real point. Aging isn't about fading. It's about deepening. Think about the things that get more valuable with time: wine, art, friendships, music, even old photographs. We don't toss them out because they're faded. We hold on to them because they remind us who we are. You are no different. Your life is a work of art in progress, a canvas that didn't stop being beautiful just because the colors changed. Now, I know this video might not change everything overnight. You might still glance in the mirror and see the parts you wish looked different. But maybe, just maybe, you'll also start to see the beauty that's been there all along. The beauty in being real. And being soft where you once had to be hard. And being kind to yourself after years of being everyone else's caretaker. And being okay with not looking like your younger self because you've become someone wiser, fuller, more whole. So here's what I hope you take from this: wrinkles are not a sign of what's been lost. They're a sign that you've laughed until it hurt, loved until it changed you, and carried on even when you didn't think you could. They're the tracks of your tenderness, the echoes of your effort, the quiet proof that you never gave up. And that's not something to cover up. That's something to wear with pride. So next time you feel tempted to judge your reflection, pause. Take a breath. Look closer. And say to yourself, this face, this life, tells a story worth hearing. Because it does. And if no one's told you lately, you're still beautiful. Not in spite of your years, but because of them. So hold your head high. Smile wide. Live loud. You've earned it. If this message touched you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below, share your story, your journey, your reflections. This is a space for honesty, for kindness, for connection. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, a sister, a friend, maybe even your younger self, share this with them. Let's start rewriting the way we see aging. Together. If you found value here, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. We've got more conversations coming, real ones, heart first, H proud. Because you deserve that. Here's to life. To wrinkles. To love that lasts. Here's to living your best chapter, right now. And remember, you are not less. You are more than ever.